My life is in your hands. My life is in your hands. You took control when I was young, when I was not able. My life is in your hands. My life is in your hands. You took control when I was young, when I was not able.
Hi, welcome to my show called Inspired Blessings with Jimmy Prince, and today I have two special guests, and actually, Bobby Lloyd, you've been here, this is your third time.
Yes.
Right? And being the fact that you also, the author of a new book called The Black Knight,
Yes.
which will be very interesting, we'll talk about, and your son, Daniel Lloyd, as well. And you are also the, let me get this right, the Vice President of Development for for Long Island Citizens for Community Values.
Yes, Director of Development.
Director of Development, okay, very good. And
I'm the executive director.
Executive Director. Let me get it, okay.
The buck stops here.
We're going to make it shorter. We're going to just say LICCV.
Right.
Okay, that's great. So thank you so much for joining me today. Appreciate it. And yeah, like I was mentioning, is your third time being back. That you actually called me to let me know that you your book came out, because we spoken about your testimony in the previous two interviews. So I definitely recommend that if you could go on to my website and or my YouTube, and you can be able to watch the two previous interviews as well. Now, what does LICCV, what actually is that?
Well, our goal is to protect women, children, and families from the sexualized culture that we live in. And we have found out that in the last number of years, the increase of sexualization in our nation has just gotten totally out of control. Young kids are having sex at the age of 8. Young boys are viewing pornography at the age of 9 and 10. And we just really sense that it's time to do something about it. Now, I know everyone is looking for the law to do something, but we got to start at home. We got to start at home. We do an outline that helps kids from getting caught up into the sexualized culture. So hopefully, people will start really realizing the danger of this.
Right. Now, Daniel, what part do you play in helping LICCV, become more better known?
Yeah, so with regards to Director of Development, my job is pretty much to bring in extra initiatives to further the mission. Within that, we've been working on a new bill, working on fundraising for the new building, and as well as...
If you want, tell us what the bill is.
Okay, yeah, so I wasn't sure you want to go into that now.
Yes.
So the bill, we're mimicking a bill that was passed in the state of Utah. That is giving the opportunity to recognize internet pornography as a public health crisis within the state of New York. Currently, we're working with Assemblyman Andrew Rea. He's already drafted the bill, and we'll be able to start working that within January of 2017.
But what would the bill do, though?
So with the new effects of internet pornography, let's say, it'll be able to grant federal funding to the education of the harmful effects that the access to internet pornography has on young children and the minds of men or whoever constantly has access to it or watches it or uses it.
Would this be in the school system?
Well, it's everywhere, but we want to be able to put filters on it in the school system through federal funding because it's a bill within the state. So it opens the doors to a lot of different resources and communication. So there could be possibly after-school educational classes against the harmful effects that this causes as a public health crisis.
So what's the status on it? How far is it?
It's in the very beginning. It's just been drafted again, and we're going to have to work it. We need a lot of prayers, and we need a lot of support. It will start in January of this year, 2017, sorry.
Okay.
So it's very new. It has been passed in the state of Utah, so it has been done so far. So we're just going to try to mimic it and replicate it.
Well, that would be better. I mean, parents will feel a lot more...
Well, that's the problem. The parents are not getting involved.
No, they're not.
And that's where through this bill, maybe it'll wake up a couple of people and see that, you know what, we got to protect our kids. This is dangerous. And, I mean, now the government's saying it's dangerous. The government saying it's dangerous for a long time. You could write to...
Well, why is it dangerous?
Because of the harms of it. What it does, it distorts the thinking of an individual. It could cause perverted actions of individuals, and people are looking at it like, oh, what's the harm? Until it actually attacks their own family. Then I get calls all the time. I don't understand what went wrong. I will come in and I'll tell you. And the reason is that we have allowed pornography to just run rampant.
I could see it could affect marriages.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
it does.
Big time.
It does. If it affects intimacy. So what is marriage without intimacy?
Right.
You
Right.
know, so it's just something that we really need to follow through.
And just to jump on that, public health crisis. So gambling is a public health crisis.
Right.
There's a number of different things that people may not be aware of that are public health crisis. But why are they? Because they affect marriages, they affect families. And so being addicted to internet pornography or pornography is the same thing as being addicted to gambling, the same thing as being addicted to drugs,
Smoking, yeah.
smoking,
Right.
even being addicted to food. These are all public health crises, but for some reason, pornography and more current internet pornography has not been put into that category. So we just want to be able to have the ability to give families the awareness that it is.
Yeah, because you could be doing it and nobody has no idea.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah.
Just-
yeah. And then,
Now, what about the building? What's the building that you're talking about?
so the building has been in works for a few years now. It's in Amityville, and what that will be is going to be the educational and administrative facility for LICCV.
Okay.
So it gives us the opportunity to give classes and a place for people to come that may be uncomfortable going somewhere else,
Right.
or dealing with it within a church or an organization or even in a school, to come to the building, to the office, and get one-on-one ministry or in a classroom setting, and just to be able to get education on how to get by the addiction of porn, or just even if somebody wants to come and talk and say, I have been dealing with this, or I feel there's a friend of mine or somebody in my family that can just come.
See, and we also want to educate the churches, have them send a couple of people in so we could begin to show them how to help their congregants deal with it. Let's say that a guy has a porn problem, he has nowhere to go, so they'll send him to me, but we can't do it all the time. And our goal really is to get out there. And so what we want to do, if we can just educate enough people in different churches, we can send them to different
Sure.
places to get the education they need to get out of it.
Right.
And it's a very, very hard thing to stop.
Now, Daniel, what made you get involved? How old are you?
30.
30.
Yeah, so.
So would you say that, at your age that people get involved in these things? So what made you become a part of this?
Involved with the organization?
LICCV.
Okay, yeah, so it's kind of a funny story in a way. My background has been within music and just business development in the city of Newark, New Jersey. But I've always had conversations with my parents in the last few years about how is everything going, what's the process, just staying in communication. But in the last few months, with the 20th anniversary of LICCV and the fact that my father was releasing his book, I naturally do this in the businesses that I work in, so I was just giving some insight and, just asking questions on how everything was going. And the question came about, well, how would you feel about possibly helping in a way? So it started just like that. I didn't expect to come back to Long Island, but I recently got married to my high school sweetheart.
Oh,
So, yes,
congratulations.
thank you. And she lives out here. So in a weird way, I kind of ended up moving back out here in Long Island, which opened the door for me to be able to come on board to LICCV, which has been a blessing. And I've just been praying that God opens the doors that He wants me to go through, and that He'll close the doors that He doesn't want me to go through. And so me being able to come on board full time is an answer saying, this is a door for you to walk through.
And you know what's good is that when you decide to retire from LICCV, you've got someone who can just step right in there.
Yeah, because I'm getting up there in age, so we're going to have to push this thing along.
How are you feeling, by the way? Because I know the last interview.
Pretty good. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
doing a lot better.
Well, that's good. So tell me about your book.
Well, The Black Knight.
Yes. Yeah.
Pushing dope to pushing
Excited,
hope.
right?
Yes, very much so. And I'll let Daniel tell this part because he's done a lot of work for the book.
Yeah, we're very excited. We're super excited about the story in the book. Again, it's Black Knight, From Pushing Dope to Pushing Hope, the Bobby Lloyd story. He has a very special story, a lifetime Long Islander. And it pretty much runs through the story of where he came from, Rockville Center, Long Island, coming up within the drug scene, one of the major suppliers of heroin within the 1970s and 80s. His life term imprisonment due to Rockefeller law, and then also being exonerated from that and being able to come again and walk the streets as a free man, and then also giving his life to Jesus due to Long Island Teen Challenge program, Brooklyn Teen Challenge. And so this explains in detail that story. It's being released November 28th, Cyber Monday, so that's almost about 2.5 weeks from now.
Right. I don't know if you know, I know you have a book signing event, but it's not going to be aired. It'll be aired after that, so that event is not going to be able to be.
December 3rd.
Yeah, I have a lot of other interviews that are going to be airing before that. Sorry about that. But at least the fact that they know that it'll be on, you know, that they could be able to purchase it and online, Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's on Amazon right now. It's available for pre-order. It's doing very well. Right now, it's #1 best news seller in Christian ministry.
And that's because people know about Bobby, to different churches and shared your testimony and things like that.
Yeah, but the thing is this, I've never really shared my testimony. And that's what got people really geared up for this. I read one little excerpt from it, and they, well, I never knew that. And actually, that's how the book got started. I went down to Pure Life Ministries, Steve Gallagher with Jimmy Jack, my brother-in-law, and he was going to preach, and all of a sudden he caught a sciatica pain in his right leg and back. He couldn't move. So he asked me, you know, he said, "Bobby, you got to preach. I can't stand up." So I got there, told my full testimony like I never told before. And Steve Gallagher, who's the director there, goes, "Man, I never heard that before about you." I said, "I don't tell it. You know, man, I'm not proud of that." He said, "Yeah, but man, it could help a lot of people." So he stayed on me for almost 6 months, and finally one day we found out he was in New York City with his wife doing research on me, and just to see if all the stuff that I had said was true, and he found out it was true. So when that happened, you know, I just said, "Listen, I'm not a writer." He said, "I'll write it. You give me the information, and we'll go from there." So, and that was the beginning of the Black Knight.
Well, you know what? This is the time when I see Christian movies starting to really come out. So this will be a great drama, true story for a Christian.
Absolutely.
And you know, when that happens, since you've been on the show the 3rd time, I would like to be on the opening night of that show and to be one of your guests.
Sure, you kidding me? Come on.
There's getting some interest already too, though.
Yeah.
There's been talks about that. We have a beautiful promotional video which we'll be releasing tomorrow night through various social media outlets and press outlets, and just that 1 2-minute video has already gotten some interest for potential movies. So.
Oh, you'll have to email me that link.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So if you need a part where you're looking for a TV talk show host, I can play that part.
That's interesting. That's interesting.
But yeah, I mean, you know, your story, there's so many that can relate, I hate to say, to your story of the fact of being addicted and being in that type of a world. You know, so, you know, finding Christ in your life, that's what people are missing.
Yeah, and so many people are running from the Lord, and it's not the answer. I mean, I ran for a while. Thank God for my wife, Diane, who prayed me into the kingdom and wouldn't give up. And it's just something that we all of us in this whole world need to grab a hold of Christ and say, "Lord, if you're real, prove yourself to me." And he will. He'll do it. He'll do it. But people are so afraid of that journey, you know. I go, "What are you afraid of? You're out here in the streets killing yourself."
That's like being in hell.
It is.
You know, I say that, and I say to people that if you don't know Jesus Christ, this is actually heaven. You know what I mean? Because you're actually then going to go to hell.
Right.
You know, and anybody who, I hate to say it, well, if you know Jesus Christ, this is more like hell because you know where you're going to heaven. You know? Yeah. But now, you being in your 30s, so you know your dad as being the godly man the whole time, would you say, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. You were clean at that point? Like, you know?
Yeah, he didn't know anything about my past.
So when you right? So
Yeah.
I'm sure the fact that when you
Well-
read the story,
I mean, well, not even just a story. From growing up, I would hear stories just for being in different neighborhoods, and oh yeah, your father's Bobby Lloyd, man, he was a bad one back in the day, or just it was always interesting, and I was always it was like listening to a story of somebody that you just didn't know, and you couldn't believe it. So it was always fascinating to me to hear the different stories from himself and other people, which was even more exciting. So
Who's that you were working with that asked you? You was helping out the church. Yeah, who it was now?
you talk a little bit louder because your mic is on
He
that side.
he was working at the church and going through school, and one of the volunteers they had there, when he heard his last name was Lloyd, he asked him, "Is Bobby Lloyd your dad?" He goes, "Yeah." He says, "Man, boy, some testimony, boy, he got, you know." So I just said, he just said, "Oh," and he listened to the story. He told.
Well,
it,
you know what though? Here's the thing. You have a lot to be proud of versus the fact that you know how many kids are saying, "Yeah, that's my dad. Yeah, he's in jail right now." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That there's nothing in
Absolutely.
their story being glorified.
yeah.
You know, so with him taking that change and having Christ in his life, it must be such a, I'm proud of my dad. I'm proud of the fact that he actually was able to come out of that world and having Christ in his life, and what he's doing is trying to help everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, what the book tells also is even a more amazing testimony is the influence and the relationships that he has after his power and presence in the drug scene. He's had even more of an influence within politics and business here in Long Island and the country and internationally as a follower of God.
Mm-hmm.
And so not only was he a powerful presence in let's say the dark world, and people are still afraid of him from that time, but now he gets even more respect in very influential circles and networks. And so I'm just super blessed. It's kind of surreal to me still to be able to help and to be able to market and to be able to expand everything that he's established along with my mother in the last 20 plus years with the organization and just his story in general. So
Sure. Well, if I can suggest a point for maybe you to research or to reach out to, I would reach out to the presidency of Donald Trump there and see if somewhere along, that they can be able to have LICCV be a part of trying to get this nation back.
Well, if you look at if you look,
Yeah.
well, once the book is out, once it's finished, I'll give you a copy. You will see that.
Are you going to give me a copy if I come on December
3rd? Yeah, let's come. And it's. I mean, I had a face-to-face with Attorney General Ashcroft. I had a face-to-face with Gonzalez, Rudy Giuliani.
Okay, so you know what? He's,
so
he's going to have a part with the Trump organization,
Yeah, I am. I know it. I know God's going to put me there.
Right.
He's going to put me there. I don't know how he's going to do it, but it's going to happen.
Okay, well, don't forget me along the way.
Okay.
So if you want to be interviewed on a Christian talk show,
Yeah.
I've got somebody for you.
Yeah.
But no, that's great, and in the fact that your dad makes you proud now.
Absolutely.
Now, is it just one son that you have, or you
No, I
have
have
other
two.
children?
I have 8 kids.
How many times you were married, right? Is it?
Well, actually, just I was only married once.
Okay.
Well, twice. Then I got divorced. Once I got
Well,
divorced.
that was
and
being
then-
married.
and then yeah.
I was almost married.
Yeah, but it's a long story. I got 8 kids by 3 different women, so it's a long story. If you want to know about it, get the book.
Yeah, no.
But the
No, you
thing
give me
is-
the book.
Yeah. But the thing is this: is that what we're trying to do is make people understand that we can live in this world and we can honor each other. But the problem is everyone wants to do what they want to do. I try to live by the Bible. And when I fall short, I get on my knees and ask the Lord to forgive me. And I keep on going. And because of this, I'm able to stand. I mean, listen, all through my life I've had so many things happen to me. Even after I became a Christian, I had pancreatic cancer. Who lives after pancreatic cancer? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So
See? Praise God.
I was in Sloan Kettering for 10 weeks.
You know what's coming to mind, and I don't have a good memory, but I believe our last interview, you cracked me up with a story, and in the fact that you were kind of keeping yourself clean or something like that.
Yeah, I was hooked on pornography and
then
couldn't get rid of it.
you went into the
teen
store,
challenge,
so you just want to.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
was
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
Let's repeat that.
Well, I went to Teen Challenge, I graduated, and I came home, and I still struggled with pornography. I tried to fight it off, couldn't fight it off. And one day we were living in Long Beach, and I was walking down towards the beach, and all of a sudden I heard this voice that said, "Hey, Bobby, go in the store and buy the latest Penthouse magazine." I go, "What are you talking about? Who is that anyway?" Then I heard another voice say, "Bobby, don't listen to him. He's the father of lies."
So really, that's true. So the devil and
devil on one shoulder, angel on the other.
Intertwined.
Yeah. So I go, "You gotta be kidding me." So then all of a sudden I'm thinking, and all of a sudden this voice comes to me, "What are you gonna do?" So before I tell you what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna ask most people. I say, "Listen, what would you do?" Or have you committed something that you don't want to do? And I said, forget it. I went into the store, grabbed the magazine, threw it up on the counter, paid for it, never waited for the change, spun around, got ready to leave, and guess who was standing behind me? One of the ladies from my church. And she was one of these ladies that could talk for like 9 hours, didn't have to breathe. And all of a sudden she just thought, "Oh, Brother Lloyd, every time you come to church, I'm so blessed. I wish all the men in the church would be like you. I wish everybody would be like you. The world would be a great place to live." I go, "Lord, if this woman knew was in this paper bag," I said, "she would pass out and so would I." By this time, sweat's pouring off of me. And she just keeps talking. Then she goes, "Brother Lloyd, you don't look too well." I said, "I'm not feeling too well about now." She said, "Anything I can do for you?" I go, "Nope." She said, "Are you sure?" I go, "Yep." She said, "Well, maybe you should go home." I said, "Uh-huh." I shot past her like a football player going to the goal line. Got down to the end of the bay, ripped that magazine up, never touched pornography again.
Right.
But then the Lord showed me something through this. And I want all those who are holding on to guilt of things, is He showed me that I'm not out here to kill you, because he could have killed me. I mean, here I was, 250 pounds, running 5 blocks. I could have had a heart attack,
Right.
fell out in the street, the magazine goes shooting out my hand, the bag goes shooting out my hand, and they find me dead with the Penthouse magazine.
Right, and then it's like, but I didn't look at it.
Right. But the Lord has grace.
Right.
Has grace for us, and He took that very scene and just launched it.
Right.
So now we help people that struggle, that you can get out of the addiction of pornography.
Right. What'd you say?
Also with Pastor Jimmy Jack.
Okay, Pastor.
Yeah, with Freedom Chapel.
Freedom Chapel. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
So so I do, but I have the free reign to minister all over,
Okay.
and I have a great church.
So I should have referred to you as Pastor Bobby Lloyd.
Whatever. Listen, I don't get stuck on names. I know who I am.
Right.
And Pastor Jimmy has been great. I mean, he just gets behind me whatever I'm doing. He knows the Lord's in this, so it's good. It's all
Right.
good. It's all good. Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that they'll make your story into a movie, because I'm sure that would be very drama-oriented, action-oriented. Did you ever find yourself like running away from, the gangs and things like that?
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Because you were the head gang. Right? You were actually probably chasing them.
No, we didn't have. See, back then we didn't call them gangs. We called them posses. We called them, just your boys. And I had a number of them, probably about I don't know, 20 guys that worked for me or under me or worked with me.
And how many would you say is alive today?
Well, I was just counting today. I know if I don't even know, but I know 3 of them are dead. 3 of them are dead. They but I was able to get a hold of 2 of them in the last few days. Because I want to make sure that they, I said, I got this book coming out. So
You're part of it.
I got your name. You want to take it out? I'll take it out. He said, "No, man, leave it in there. Leave it in there."
Have
So
you ever had the opportunity to witness to them? To
Oh
share?
yeah. It's
Were they open-minded, or?
Yeah, the one that I really was close to, his name was Audrell. He was, I had a chance to minister to him. I'm just praying that it stuck, but, I got him to accept the Lord, but he didn't really walk the walk that he was supposed to. And actually, he got killed in Washington, D.C.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got shot in the back 6 times.
Wow.
And but I have ministered to many of people who were out there when I was out there in the world, doing things. And many of them accepted the Lord, changed their lives, and doing good. And so I can't complain.
No, that's great. That's great, and the fact that you got this book now and it's going to talk to many. I'd like you to give the websites for LICCV as well as where they can be able to purchase your book as well.
Yeah, so LICCV would be www.liccv.org. And for Bobby Lloyd's book, The Black Knight, go to www.bobbylloyd, that's BOBBYLLOYD.org. So.
Okay. And also the fact that they can be able to order online. Do you have it in the form of an ebook? Because I know some people.
Yes, we will. It'll be available Kindle.
In the Kindle? Okay,
Yep.
so and that's through
Yes.
the online stores.
Yes, and 5 days, I know this may not be airing, but it will be free 5 days before November 28th via Kindle, ebook.
No, you're
So-
offering it for free, you're
Yes,
saying?
for 5 days, promotional.
Well, that could be a lot of ebooks being downloaded within
Yeah,
that time.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a great offer. And thank you so much, for joining this interview and getting to know you as well.
Oh, no,
and you sound like the right person for the job.
Yeah.
Good choice.
He's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got it. So we can't complain.
Yeah, no, that's great.
We're blessed to have him for a son and all our children.
Sure.
Because they're all involved in this, and
Right.
when they saw the video he made, they couldn't believe it.
Yeah, so definitely something that I'd like, okay, appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So I want to thank you for joining us today, and very interesting, and I highly recommend for you to get the book Black Knight, because I know in the past 2 interviews he had shared me the story, and it's really a very interesting story. And also I do speaking events, so if you have any kind of events that you're looking for a speaker where I'd be sharing from my book as well as singing some songs, definitely love sharing my testimony as well. And if you could be able to like my Inspired Blessings Facebook page, and you learn about all the different guests, when they're airing, as well as the updates of Inspired Blessings, appreciate it. So keep Inspired Blessings within arm's reach to help give you comfort when others are at a loss for words. Thank you, and God bless. JeanMariePrince.com and CDBaby.com. To accept and receive Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, please say this prayer. I know that I am a sinner who needs forgiveness. Jesus, please forgive me for all my sins and purify me. I know that you died and rose again to pay for my sins. I need you to be my Lord and Savior for the rest of my life. Thank you in the name of Jesus. Amen.
With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible.
My life is in your hands. My life is in your hands. You took control when I was young, when I was not able. I had no mother to love me or a father to give me a hug. I was left all alone in this strange darkness. Nobody tried to claim me or said that they knew me. But Lord, you were always there, watching over me, making sure that I was fed. You kept me from the cold. Your hands picked me up and brought me to a loving home. Your grace was poured